Hi students, today we are going to study a new chapter on geography. This chapter is titled Agriculture, chapter on agriculture. When we are going through this chapter, you will understand this chapter carries 5 marks for the board examination, and compared to other geography chapters, this is the one which carries maximum mark. So let's have a study of this chapter. So as it is visible to you, actually here in this chapter I did not write down the points. I did not write down the points because geography chapter includes a number of objective type questions. If I write them all, it will be too hectic. What is the objective of this chapter? The basic objective of this chapter is, basically we are an agrarian country. Majority of the people, more than 60% of the population of our country, are directly or indirectly are depending on agriculture. So this is the main source of their subsistence or income, either directly in the agricultural field or things related to agro industry. So they are the main area of earning for the people. So you can just identify the objective that we are going to study many aspects of through this chapter. We are going to study types of farming, we are going to study crop pattern, we are going to study the main crops of our country, both economical crops and crops used for subsistence, problem with agriculture, why are we not developing so much through practicing agriculture. Then we are going to finally study about food security, etc. Okay, so you can just see I have highlighted in different colors. Please go through them, they are the important points. So please just know these points, go through them and make running notes based on this. It is written 2/3 of India's population is engaged in agricultural activities. That means agriculture is the primary activity of our country. Now we are moving into the types of farming. Basically you have studied types of farming in class 8 if you are able to recall. So basically it is subsistence farming. Okay, so we have under subsistence farming different category like intensive subsistence farming, and first of all let's begin with the primitive subsistence farming first of all. So as you are able to recall, primitive subsistence agriculture is practiced on small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dough, digging sticks and family community labor, etc. So it depends directly on monsoon, then natural fertility of the soil, okay, etc. You remember in 8th class you studied slash and burn agriculture that is practiced especially by Adivasis, primitive people. So that is a big example of a primitive agriculture. Even nowadays it is practiced in northeastern area, slash and burn and all is practiced. Okay, so here one special feature you can remember is farmer does not use fertilizer or other modern inputs. So that is the one special thing that you need to remember it. Okay, so you can also refer to 8th class geography book for more points. Some examples of a primitive farming is given, and there are so many names given. I ask you to go through. You can just see jumming, the slash and burn agriculture is known as milpa in Mexico, Central America, then conuco in Venezuela, roca. Okay, in India there are other names like beaver, dahiya, in Madhya Pradesh, podu, penda, Andhra Pradesh, pama dabi. So there are so many names given, local names given for this primitive subsistence farming. Okay, fine. Now let's move to intensive subsistence farming. What do you understand by intensive subsistence farming? This type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. It is labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. In short, what you need to remember about intensive subsistence farming is, so these farms are available near to the area where high population pressure is there. That means the land size will be very less. So they will have maybe 1 biga of land, 1 acre or 1 hectare of land, and a number of people are depending on it. Okay, so people are forcing the land. Okay, maybe they are doing multiple cropping, different kinds of crop pattern. So finally it's a labor, it's actually using lot of pressure on the land. Okay, so maybe when a father has 3 sons, 4 sons, and initially they had 5 hectares or 5 acres or 5 biga of land, they are dividing and giving. Okay, then everybody is getting one biga. So naturally, from this small strip of land they will have to make for their living. So they may use multiple cropping, they may use lot of irrigation to bring more output. So this kinds of farming pattern is known as intensive farming. Fine. You have another type of farming, it is called commercial farming. This type of farming is the use of higher doses of modern inputs. Example, high yielding variety seeds. You have already studied HYV seeds. Chemical fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, in order to obtain higher productivity. Okay, so this is not a practice of farming in small patches or piece of land. Instead, it's a commercial farming. The land area will be more. They are using for the commercial purposes. So they will be using that type of seeds, HYV seeds, then chemical fertilizers. Okay, then irrigation. They are using also insecticides. It's not for direct consumption. It's for the commercial purposes. You can just see rice is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab. Okay, in Odisha it's a subsistence crop. So sometimes these crops also take different forms. Okay, Haryana, Punjab and all, it is used for commercial purposes. People, North Indians, they don't use so much of rice in their diet. Okay, so for them it's for the commercial purpose, but people of Odisha, they cultivate rice for their day-to-day living, subsistence. Okay, so there are certain pictures given: bamboo plantation in northeast, banana plantation in southern part of India, etc. So you can just go through them, examples of plantations. Okay, and plantation is also coming under commercial farming. It is given in a not in a title, but separately it is given. Plantation is also a type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. Okay, examples of plantations are tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane, banana, etc. Pictures are given, just go through them. Okay, so now let's come to cropping pattern. Under cropping pattern, you can just see India has basically 3 kinds of cropping pattern. Same thing we have studied in 8th class: Rabi, Kharif and Said. Important two are Rabi and Kharif. You need to know the names of this season, their duration, and major crops that are grown in these times. You can just see Rabi crops are sown in winter. Please remember, Rabi crops, they begin in winter from October to December and harvested in summer from April to June. So it begins in winter and it ends in summer. Examples: wheat, barley, peas, gram, mustard, etc. Okay. So major places of Kharif crops are Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. So what you need to remember? The time duration. Time duration of Rabi crops are from winter to summer. Main crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram, mustard, etc. Then places: Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, etc. Now we are moving to the next category. It is Kharif crops. Okay, so they are grown skipped a little more. Okay, they are grown with the onset of monsoon in different parts of the country, and these are harvested in September October. Monsoon to September October, just beginning of just before Rabi crops, they are actually reaped. So you can just see examples: paddy, maize, jowar, bajra, tuvar, arhar dal, then moong dal, urad dal, cotton, jute, groundnut and soya bean. So these are the crops grown in Kharif season. Remember the places: Assam, West Bengal, then coastal regions of Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra. These are the important places. Okay, now you can just see in between the Rabi and Kharif seasons, there is a short season during the summer months known as Zaid season. Zaid season. So during this season, that means this is coming in between Kharif and Rabi season. So what are the main things cultivation? What are the main crops cultivated? So it is watermelon, then muskmelon, cucumber, etc. Okay. So it is, I think, very easy. When you are writing, please write down season duration and major crops and areas of cultivation. Now we are moving to the major crops. Okay, so it's a something like an essay question. Okay, so even since there is 5 marks allocation, even a 5 marks direct essay can be expected from here. Okay, what are the major crops of our country? Major crops grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, pulses, tea, coffee, sugarcane, oil seeds, cotton, jute, etc. Okay, now rice may be one of the most important crop, staple food crop of majority of the people in India. Okay, so our country is the second largest producer of rice after China. Okay, it's a Kharif crop which requires almost 25 degree Celsius heat, high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 cm. So when you are writing, please write down these highlighted points. Even rice as a single question can be asked in the essay questions. Okay, grown in plains of north and northeastern India, coastal areas and the deltaic region. In almost every area of our country, rice has a suitable geography to grow. Okay, so please just underline and just note down all the important points that are given under the rice. Okay, so you can just see a map given. India rice map is given. Okay, so you can just see major area and minor area. Mostly the northeastern area, then east part of our country has a major rice belt area, and some part of Haryana, Punjab also, maybe Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh parts. Okay, then all the western parts of our country, they are considered to be the minor area of rice. Please go through them very carefully. Okay, then we are moving to the second important crop of our country is wheat. Okay, you can just see second most important cereal crop is wheat. Okay, so this Rabi, please remember it's a Rabi crop. This Rabi crop requires a cool growing season, that means it begins in October, and a bright sunshine at the time of ripening. So when you are observing, you can just see it's reaped during summer season. It requires 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall evenly distributed over the growing season. You remember rice needs 100 centimeter. Okay, here wheat needs little less than that, 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall. Okay, then wheat growing zones in the country: the Ganga Satluj plains in the north, west and black soil regions of the Deccan. So the Satluj region and the Deccan region are the most important places of the growth of wheat. Maybe MB wheat, Madhya Pradesh wheat is one of the most famous wheat category in our country. Okay, so you can just see examples: Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, parts of Madhya Pradesh are the areas of wheat cultivation. Okay, fine. Now we are moving into the next category: millets. You know, jowar, bajra, ragi. These are the important millets grown in India. Okay, so you just remember them. They are very coarse grains, very rough grains. Okay, you can just see ragi is very much rich in iron, calcium, and other micronutrients and roughage. Jowar is the third most important food crop with respect to area and production. Okay, now it's a rain-fed crop. Jowar is a rain-fed crop mostly grown in the most moist areas which hardly needs irrigation. Okay, so you can just see where jowar is produced. For example, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, etc. The next important crop is bajra. Okay, bajra grows well on sandy soils and shallow black soil. Major producing areas are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Haryana. Then you can also see ragi are the third millet we are going to study. Whenever we hear about ragi, you remember children. Okay, it's one of the nutritious food of children, especially in south areas. We used to have ragi when we were small kids. Okay, crop of dry regions and grows well in red, black, sandy, loamy and shallow black soils. Major ragi producing states are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Jharkhand, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, now we are moving into maize, another one important. So it's actually, maize is actually a crop which is used both as food and fodder. It's used for food as well as a food to the cows, etc. Okay, so it's a kharif crop which requires temperature between 21 to 27 and grows well in old alluvial soil. Okay, so you can just see Bihar is one of the important places. Okay, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, they are also growing maize. Okay, fine. Now we are moving into the next title, pulses. You know, India is the largest producer as well as consumer of pulses. Okay, so India is one of the largest producer and consumer of pulses. 1 second, I think we have skipped again pages. Okay, so you already know the names of pulses like tuar, urad dal, moong dal, masoor dal, peas. So these are all coming under the category. Before we move in detail, so let's see the map describing the wheat production of our country. You can just see again major minor areas are given. Okay, so it's so visible that the Satluj region, Deccan Plate region. Okay, so these are the major areas of wheat production. Okay, so there are also minor areas given. So you can find that the southern area of our country, it is not blessed with a climatic or geographic condition for growing wheat. Okay, fine. So you can just see Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Karnataka are the areas of production of pulses. Now we have so far seen rice, wheat, then millets, maize, pulses, etc. Now we need to go to food crops other than grains. Okay, so there are important other kinds of food grains rather than grains, like sugar cane. Okay, so you can just see sugar cane is a tropical as well as subtropical crop. It needs 21 degree to 27 degree and an annual rainfall between 75 centimeter and 100 centimeter. Irrigation is required in the regions of low rainfall. So it also needs a lot of irrigation or a continuous rain up to 100 centimeter. Okay, fine. You can just see the pictures are given. Don't miss any pictures here. Soils. Okay, India is the second largest producer of sugarcane only after Brazil. Don't write down China's name here. So Brazil is the largest producer of sugarcane, and India has a second position. Okay, fine. Now Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Punjab, Haryana, these are the most important producers of sugarcane. Now we are moving into oil seeds. In 2008, India was the second largest producer of groundnut in the world after China. Here China is the largest producer of groundnut. Okay, groundnut, mustard, coconut, sesame or til, soybean, then castor oil, cotton seeds oil, linseed and sunflower oil. These are the most important oil seeds we are producing in our country. Okay, they are actually not only for, basically they are used for edible purposes, but they are also used for soap, making soaps, cosmetics, ointments, etc. Okay, now you can just see when we saw that groundnut is the largest production in our country after China. So focusing on groundnut. Groundnut is a kharif crop and accounts for about half of the major oil seeds produced in the country. Okay, and just see, Gujarat was the largest producer of the groundnut, followed by Andhra Pradesh. Okay, also in Tamil Nadu. Linseed and mustard are rabi crops. Sesame is a kharif crop in north and a rabi crop in south India. Castor seed is grown both as rabi and kharif crops. You need to focus on this crop pattern. So sometimes objective type question can be asked. Okay, so for example, linseed or sesame. So these kind of crops can be asked which category it falls. Okay, so you should be aware. Fine. Now we are moving into tea. Okay, so tea plant grows well in tropical and subtropical climates endowed with a deep and fertile, well-drained soil. Okay, so we have already seen tea is an example of a plantation agriculture. Okay, so you can just see tea bushes require warm and moist, frost-free climate all throughout the year. Okay, now you can also see tea is a very labor absorbing, labor intensive industry. It requires abundant and cheap labor. Okay, some of the places of tea cultivation are Assam, hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri districts of West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Apart from these, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura also have tea producing areas. 2008, India was the third largest producer of tea after China and Turkey. Remember that China and Turkey precedes us in production of tea. Now, next crop we are going to deal with is coffee. Okay. 2008, India produced 3.2 percentage of the world coffee production. India is not so famous for coffee. Okay, Indian coffee is known in the world for its good quality. The Arabica variety initially brought from Yemen is produced in the country. Coffee and all is brought from other countries. Now, Nilagiri hills in Karnataka, then Kerala, Tamil Nadu. So these are very famous for coffee cultivation. Now we are moving into horticulture. 2008, India was the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. Okay, so India is also very famous for producing fruits and vegetables. India is a producer of um, India is a producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. Now you can just go through like mangoes of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. Then oranges of Nagpur, then Chirapunji Meghalaya, bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, pineapples of Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Maharashtra, apples, pears, apricots, and walnuts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are in great demand in the world over. You can just find that almost all kinds of fruits are made in our country. Okay, fine. India produces about 13 percentage of the world's vegetables. 13 percentage of India's the world's vegetable is produced by Indians. Okay, so we have some names like pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, tomato, brinjal, potato. So our country is so self-sufficient and very famous for vegetable productions. Okay, so majority of Indian poor farmers also depend on production of vegetables uh, as a subsidiary production. Okay, fine. Now there are also, so far we have seen food crops. Now we are going to study about non-food crops. Okay, so rubber. India is an equatorial, sorry, it is an equatorial crop, but under special conditions, it is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. The features, it requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeter and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Kerala is very famous for rubber production because Kerala gets uh, more than 200 or nearly 200 centimeter rainfall. Okay, so you can just see rubber is an important industrial raw material. It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andaman, Nicobar Islands, and Garo Hills of Meghalaya also cultivate rubber. Meghalaya is also having lot of rain. 2010-11, India ranked fourth among the world's natural rubber producers. Okay, fine. So please go through the pictures given very carefully. Okay, so you can just see little disturbance. Okay, fine. Let's continue. One pie chart is given here. Consumption of natural rubber. Please go through them so you will understand what are the different areas of rubber being used. Okay, for making footwear, belt, latex foam, then auto tires and tubes. For that, 62.2 percentage of rubber is used. Okay, cycle tires, tubes also 0.9, 0.2 percentage, maybe the second largest. Mainly it is for the rubber it is used. Okay, fine. Now let's move to fiber crops. fiber crops, especially when we hear the word fiber crops, we remember cotton, jute, hemp, natural silk are the four major fiber crops grown in India. Okay, so mainly we are focusing on cotton. Okay, so you can just see, you heard about this natural silk. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. As an objective type question, you can remember it. Okay, what is sericulture? Now we are going to study first of all about cotton. India is believed to be the original home of the cotton plant. Okay, so cotton, it is believed that originated in our country. In 2008, India was second largest producer of cotton after China. So some like same like Buddhism, it is started in our country, moved to China, Japan, etc. Likewise, cotton also we started here, and now we are second position. Okay, fine. Let's, it requires, cotton requires high temperature, light rainfall or irrigation, 210 frost free days and bright sunshine is required for the growth of cotton. Okay, it's a kharif crop, requires 6 to 8 months to mature. See the places of major cotton producing areas: Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. So another one is jute. It has another name. It is known as the golden fiber. Okay, high temperature is required during the time of growth. For almost all the fiber, they need less rain and more dry season. Okay, so West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha, Meghalaya are the major jute producing areas. Gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets and other artifacts are the main products of jute. It's very costly product. If you visit any supermarket and all, they give you cotton, this jute made bags which cost around 11, 15, 20 rupees. Okay, so it's very very costly. Okay, now we are going to study about technological and industrial reforms. Agriculture has been practiced in India for thousands of years. Okay, and sustained use of land without compatible techno-institutional changes have hindered the pace of agricultural development. We, in the initial pages, we discussed that agriculture is not so profitable industry for our country, even though it is the most dependent area of income and subsistence. You can just see, most of the farmers in large parts of the country still depend upon monsoon and natural fertility. Our country's majority of the farmers are depending on monsoon. Okay, so if monsoon doesn't give mercy, our country will have a lot of economical problems for majority of the poor people in our country. So actually we focused a number of institutional reforms like collectivization, consolidation of holdings, cooperation and abolition of zamindari system. Okay, so these were the important priorities to bring some institutional changes to make agriculture more modernized. Okay, what are the things government did? So government started collectivization, consolidation of holdings. Okay, then cooperatives, abolition of zamindari system, so that there will be more economical growth of farmers. Okay, then you might have heard about land reform. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5-year plans. You must have heard about land redistribution of Jyoti Basu in West Bengal and all, and number of rules and regulations were given. So when zamindari system itself was banned, number of people were fortunate to receive the lands. Okay, now you can just see the green revolution based on the use of package technology and the white revolution, Operation Flood related to milk, were some of the strategies initiated to improve the improve the cases of Indian agriculture. So this also coming under institutional changes. Government of India in 1960s and 70s introduced Green Revolution and White Revolution. It also gave lot of impetus, lot of boost changes to the agriculture. 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated which included both institutional and technological reforms. Okay, so what are the things included in that? Provision of crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclone, etc., fire, disease, etc. Then establishment of Grameen banks, cooperative societies and banks for providing loan facilities to the farmer at lower rates of interest were some of the important steps in this direction. After Green Revolution in 1760s, 1670s, by 1890s, government started insurance schemes and opening of banks so that farmers will get cheap credit. Okay. Then Kisan Credit Card, KCC, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, PACE, are some other schemes introduced by the government of India for the benefit of the farmers. Okay, so these are all things you can write down, things, institutional changes made by, or the developmental schemes produced by government of India towards farmers and to improve farming sector. Okay, so the government also announces minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators and middlemen. Often you might find that sometimes the middlemen and people who are doing black hoarding, etc., so they create lot of issues. In order to support farmers, government has introduced minimum support price. That means a support price is given. Below that, whatever be the condition, the price of the product will not go down, so that there is a guarantee of dependence of farmers on what they produce. There is a case study given about Bhudan, then Gramdan. There will be questions related to that. Please go through them. Okay, so precisely I have underlined what is Bhudan. Okay, and the important person whose initiatives are also mentioned here, like Sri Ram Chandra Reddy stood up and offered 80 acres of land to be distributed among 80 landless villages. This act was known as Bhudan. So background is given. Mahatma Gandhi and Vinoba Bhave, when they were campaigning all throughout the villages, okay, for Gram Swaraj, or when they conducted Padayatra, they wanted to redistribute lands. So when their travel reached, okay, Vinoba Bhave were questioned that how people will be getting an assurance of land distribution. So he told that he will influence the government. Then suddenly one person stood up and said, I am ready to give away land for 80 acres of land to the 80 landless villages. So this was the starting of Bhudan, okay, giving land, something like alms. Okay. Then some zamindars, owners of many villages, offered to distribute some villages among the landless people. It was known as Gramdan. Okay, so you please go through them and understand in detail. Okay, fine. Now we are moving into a combined study of geography and economics. Okay, so we are going to study about contribution of agriculture. Okay, there is also something given like the Bhudan Gramdan movement initiated by Vinoba Bhave is also known as the bloodless revolution. Please go through them. Contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and output. Okay, so now let's see how much contribution agriculture has done towards GDP. Okay, so you have already studied in economics also. It is easy for you to remember. The contribution of primary sector towards GDP is very negligible. Okay, service sector, which is depended by very less number of people, is the largest contributor to the GDP. Okay, so you can just see there is a declining trend from 1951 onwards. 2010-11, about 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector, which makes more than half of the Indian population. Okay, now most of the people depend on agriculture for their survival, subsistence. Okay, so this declining trend of GDP related to agriculture is a very serious concern, because mostly our country is a agrarian country. Our country is not so developed because majority of the people are depending on agriculture, and their contribution towards the national income is very meager. Government of India made concerted efforts to modernize agriculture. We have already seen some of the projects Government of India established to modernize and to make institutional changes in the agriculture. You can just see establishment of Indian Council of Agriculture Research, agricultural universities. We have a university in Gwalior also. Veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast, etc. So government has invested a lot of money to modernize and bring agriculture a very fruitful result. Still, it is so unfortunate for us that agriculture is the least contributor towards the GDP. The growth rate in agriculture is decelerating, which is an alarming situation. Okay, decelerating means opposite of accelerating. It is decreasing. Okay, fine. So there is a table given India growth of GDP and major sectors. Okay, so agriculture, industry, and services. Okay, it's very important to note. 2002 to 7, 2007 to 12, 2012, 17, how much we had targeted. Okay, so you can just see the contribution of GDP in agriculture is 1.7, 3.2, while the services, you can just see, which is the least occupied area by the people, contributes towards GDP by 9, 10. It's increasing also. Okay, so fine. Now we are also our country's lot of income is also actually wasted, or not, we cannot use the word wasted, but spent mostly on mechanization, subsidy on fertilizers. Okay, so etc. Okay, but this also goes in vain, in fact, without bringing the enough result. But our country's majority of the people depend on agriculture. Governments are also supposed to do this, supposed to continue, otherwise our country's existence will be in trouble. We are going to study another one title, it is food security. Actually we are a country having the largest population now, so food security will be one of the greatest concern of our country. You can just see, in order to ensure availability of food to all sections of society, our government carefully designed a national food security system. Okay, it consists of two important divisions, components. One is buffer stock and other one is PDS, or public distribution system. Okay, now PDS is a program which provides food grains and other essential commodities at subsidized prices in rural and urban areas. Please by heart this definition of what is public distribution system. Now, India's food security, the primary focus is to ensure availability of food grains to the common people at an affordable price. What is the objective of India's food security? Food must be available to all the people of our country at an affordable price. So fixing the support price for procurement of wheat and rice to maintain their stocks. Okay, our FCI and all collecting food in their godown, so that there will be always food being stocked for the population of our country. Actually there can be unpredictable conditions like spread of viruses like coronavirus, or war, or natural calamity, etc. Okay, foreseeing that, Government of India has great stock for feeding the population of our country. Okay, you can just see Food Corporation of India is responsible for procuring and stocking food grains, whereas distribution is ensured by public distribution system. So procurement is done by FCI and the distribution is done by PDS. Okay, so you can just see the FCI procures food grains from the farmers. Okay, government has announced MSP, minimum supporting price. Okay, so at that price, this FCI is collecting and storing food. Okay, now subsidies on agriculture inputs such as fertilizers, power, and water is also given so that there will be more production. Okay. Um Now you also can see as we are coming down the consumers. Okay, consumers of our country are divided basically into two. One is coming under BPL, another one is coming under APL. You might have heard about ration cards in two colors. One is APL card and the other one is BPL. People who are coming below poverty line, so they are getting food resources at a very subsidized prices, and APL they are getting at a very normal rate. Okay, so in our country a majority of the people are poor, and food is distributed at a very cheap rate. Okay, for example, you can just see uh, food is collected food is collected at 22 23 rupees or 25 rupees, but government is giving huge subsidy to the poor people through ration shops, maybe at uh, 2 rupees per kg or 3 rupees per kg, depending on the states. To the poor people food is distributed. Okay, so that means government is making lot of effort to make food security of our country. Now each district and block can be made self-sufficient in food grain production if government provides proper agricultural infrastructure, credit linkages, and also encourage the use of latest techniques. Now we are telling that uh, if government is focusing on good infrastructure agriculture, then good credit facilities, etc., there will be much more betterment in agricultural area. Okay, now the focus on increasing food grains production, which should be on sustainable basis, and also a free trade in grains, will create massive employment and reduce poverty in rural areas. There has been a gradual shift from cultivation of food crops to cultivation of fruits, vegetables, oil seeds, and industrial crops. This has led to the reduction of net zone area. You have already studied what is net zone area in another one chapter. Under cereals and pulses. With the growing population of India, the declining food production puts a big question mark over the country's future food security. Nowadays, you can just see a trend. The food grains production is lacking in our country, so it's a big threat to our food security. All need money, so all are focusing on commercial crops. Okay, so they are converting the food grain land into commercial crops. Also, you can find the land is basically used for more economically advantageous areas. In your surroundings, you can just see the farming areas are converted into plots for commercial as well as construction of houses, etc. These all create issues. Okay, towards the food security of our country. There is a table given, India food grains production. Please go through the table carefully. You can find rice, the staple food, the major crop of our country, how much it is being produced year by year. Okay, it's getting reduced. Maybe rice has a there is an increase in the production, but in the coming years there will be a fear that the depletion of area, the net zone area reduction, etc., will create problem of production. Okay, fine. Now you can just see another area for the reduction or the fear, creating fear towards food security, is the land degradation. Because of the continuous use of groundwater, because of the intensive irrigation, etc., the quality of the land is getting reduced. Therefore, production also decreases. Big farmers with a deeper tube wells still have water, but many others face a water crisis. Inadequate storage, marketing facilities also act as a disincentive to the farmer. Even though many farmers are given advantage by the government, always the facilities are taken mostly by large farmers. Okay, and again they have their own tube wells and all, so they have self-sufficiency, but poor farmers, they depend mainly on monsoon, no facility of irrigation, etc. Okay, so you can also find the high prices of HYV seeds affordable only to the rich farmers, not for the poor. So they need to depend towards the intensive or primitive types of farming methods. So these are all creating lot of issues for the farmers of our country. Okay. Now, let's see the impact of globalization on agriculture. So globalization also created lot of issues to the agriculture also. Globalization may look like a new term, but during the Britishers time also you can find that during even 18th 19th centuries, European traders, they came to India. Okay, so they promoted spices from South India, and they converted our country from a finished product producing country to a hub of raw materials. So these all created lot of troubles in our agricultural scenario. Okay. Newspaper cuttings are given, please go through them. Okay, there will be picture based questions. You can just see cotton from India. They were one of the finest cotton. Our country was one of the finest cotton producing countries. You have read about the Champaran movement, which started in 1917 in Bihar. So Champaran Satyagraha and all was against exploitation towards farmers. So this globalization or the influence of foreign traders affected our agriculture from centuries before. Okay, so this was started because farmers of the region were forced to grow indigo on their land because it was necessary for the textile industry which were located in Britain. So you remember that in 8th class also you studied, once indigo is cultivated, that land becomes totally barren, that land becomes totally useless for the cultivation of other areas because of its long roots and so on. Okay. Okay, so this exploitation started from years before. Then now under globalization, particularly after 1990s, farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. Globalization gave way for free trade. Okay, now other countries also can import we should be more competent in export, etc. Okay, you can just see we are not able to compete with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. Developed countries give a lot of subsidies on agriculture for practicing subsidies. So we are also getting subsidies, but we become less competent for export purposes. Okay, so they are able to commercially produce things and export, and maybe even we are also importing many things because these things are available at a cheap price. So this gave a hard hit to agriculture in our country. Green Revolution promised much, but today it is under controversies. It is being alleged that it has caused land degradation due to overuse of chemicals, drying aquifers, and vanishing biodiversity. The keyword today is Gene Revolution, which includes genetic engineering. So actually the Green Revolution and also it was so promising in those times. So we were thinking of exporting and becoming so prosperous, but the over exploitation created lot of troubles to the land. Nowadays people are focusing on the genetically modified seeds, and the Gene Revolution is the key word for the survival of agriculture. In fact, organic farming is much in vogue today because it is practiced without factory made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides. So you can just see even the organic farming is not in full swing in our country. Okay, so they are also in childhood. You can just see Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. This will increase income and reduce environment degradation simultaneously. Fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like jatropha and jojoba need much less irrigation than rice and sugarcane. India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow a wide range of high value crops. Okay, now under food security, under globalization, we have studied several points. Okay, so under food security, you remember that there are so many institutional changes and developments brought by our country. Definitely, as a summary, you can find out that globalization gave a lot of huge hit, huge disadvantages to our country. From Britishers' time onwards, we are exploited, and 1990 onwards, when free trade and all started, there was a lot of problem to compete ourselves with our other countries. Okay, now rather than following primitive type of farming, we need to focus more on more cash crops, so that agriculture can be modernized. And let's hope that agriculture one day will bring lot of better changes in our country. So that's uh, all about agriculture. Okay, so just focus on this chapter very much and study properly.